Hey guys, Nick here. Today we're going to go through an important concept in Excel that, once you understand this concept, takes you from having to manually crunch numbers, which you really shouldn't be doing in Excel unless you're a complete newbie and you're learning the ropes, to creating formulas that take care of the work for you, right? So the concept we're going over today is how Excel is laid out and how you can use its layout to automate your work, right? So the first things first is, if you look at Excel, you'll notice right away the big things, right, is that it's basically like, it's a spreadsheet program. So it's a spreadsheet. It has a bunch of grids made up of a bunch of columns and a bunch of rows, right? So within the grid, right, within this bigger grid, you basically have a bunch of cells, right? And each cell, if you look at it, has a specific address. So when you click into a cell, you'll see it right away, right? Look at how the column of the cell as well as the row is highlighted in a darker gray, right? That is the address of the cell. So in this case, if we're in this cell, which I'm going to highlight yellow, the address of the cell is column I, row 10, right? And you can see that over here in the name box, I10. And if we move over one column, we should be in J10, right? So now look at that, J10. Likewise, the name box reflects the address of the cell, right? So where this all comes in handy is that when you do something in Excel, right, you can replicate it by setting up your formula once and then copying over your formula relative to what you're manipulating, right? So that might be a bit unclear, so let me show you what I mean, right? Let's say in these two rows, right, row 3 and row 4, let's highlight row 3. Let's say row 3 is going to be this light red versus row 4 is going to be this light blue, right? Let's make that blue a little darker, this light blue. So in Excel, everything is relative. Once you have the address of one cell, everything that you do is technically relative, right? So in G9 right now, I'm going to make G9, right, this cell, equal to whatever the value is in B3. Okay? So the value in B3, right, here's our formula. I want G9 to be equals to B3, right? And that value in B3 is the letter A, right? So let me just format these, center all this, because there we go. I'm a stickler when it comes to formatting, center aligning things. Anyways, how could I go about copying this, right, without actually copy pasting? Copying this row from the letters A to F down here, right? How can I do that? Well, one way is, like I said, you make this one cell equal to A, make this next cell equal to B, make this next cell equal to C, make this next cell equal to D, so on and so forth, right? So that's one method. It wasn't too bad, right? We can finish it out. It took us, what, 20 seconds to finish it out just doing this method, right? But this method is technically inefficient. What's an even more inefficient method we could do is we could just type the letters, right? B, C, D, E, F. That's even more inefficient, right? The reason these are inefficient is because imagine this list went down all 26. Oh, looks like it's going to be repeating. Imagine this list went down all 26, right? All 26 letters of the alphabet. E, F, G, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, so on and so forth, all the way down. When you're dealing with a big quantity of numbers, then manually typing or manually pointing like we did the first time, right, it starts to add up, and that time becomes very big very quickly, right? I'm not going to go on to the rest of them because that's just too much. So the beauty of Excel is that everything, like I told you earlier, is relative, right? So right now I want to start here, right, in G9. I have G9 pointing to A because that's where I want to start, but I want to copy the rest of these letters down, right? So since everything is relative, we already have G9 pointing at A. I can simply copy this formula. So the keyboard shortcut is hold down Control and hit C, right? Hold Control, hit C, and you see you get the dotted lines around the cell. That's how you know your shortcuts work, your copy shortcut. And then another way to do that is right click, where is it at? Right click, copy, right? Same thing. But essentially, hit Control C to copy. What I want to do is copy this formula over one cell to the right of G9. So since Excel is relative, right, what's going to happen is we should see it being here. Ready? So now I can either right click and then paste, right? Or the shortcut to paste is hold Control, hit the letter V. There you go. So you see what just happened? I pasted the formula and I got the letter B, right? If I copy, so Control C, move over one cell, then Control V to paste the formula, I get the letter C, right? So you see what's going on here? This formula is moving over, right? One spot. So where I set up my original formula, it's pointing at B3. If I copy this formula, move over one cell to the right, and paste the formula, where the formula looks at will also shift over to the right one. And then if I copy the formula in H9, which is pointing at C3, the letter B, right? If I copy this formula, move over one cell, I paste it, then I get the letter C. So the formula went from pointing at C3, right, to pointing at D3. So if you, as you can see, what I'm going to do now is copy the formula in C, highlight all the cells I want to paste it into, hit Control V, and look at that. See that? Every letter, every formula moved over one cell relative to the next one. You see that? That's why Excel is powerful, because its logic of having everything relative lets you do things much quicker and in an automated sense versus how you have to do it if there was no logic behind Excel and it was literally just a spreadsheet, right? And you were typing things into it manually. So by that same token, since Excel is relative, if I copy the formula in G9, right? G9, if I copy this, which is pointing at B3, and I paste it in the cell below, what should we see? We should see the number 0 populate, because relative to this, I'm going to be moving down one row, right? So ready? I'm gonna copy G9. You can see the excuse me, the dash lines around that cell means it's copied. I'm gonna hit Control V, one cell under it. Look at that. The number 0. So let's do this. Let's do 10. Let's do 20. Let's do 30. Let's do 40. I copy, paste one row under. Look at that. 10, 20. Paste 2 rows under. 30 and 40. So you can see, right? Everything is relative in terms of positioning. Because of that, you can take formulas. Right? So now we'll copy A. If we paste one cell above, it should go from here to there. Excel is relative. Alright, so let that sink in, guys, and in the next video I'm going to show you how you can play around with some of these formulas to stop Excel from being relative either in one direction up, in a direction down, or in a direction left, or to the right. But that's for the next video. Let me know if anything is unclear in the comments. If you need any more help, just drop it in the comments and I'll get back to you. And like always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.